Hey guys, okay, let's see. Maybe is it live? We will see. Let us go refresh in the group. Okay. Do we have it? Do we have it? Am I live? No, I'm not. Hang on. Now I'm live. Okay. So guys, if you are here, make sure to hashtag I'm here. And if you're catching a replay, make sure to hashtag replay. Thanks so much for joining me today. We are going to be talking about something that is based off of a lot of our check-ins. So, if you haven't gotten your check-in done, no worries. Try and get it done today because all responses and program updates are going to be happening tomorrow. So, if you want to make sure that that is being, looked at, addressed, it is on you to make sure that you get your check-in done so that we are both on the same page and that we have that close tie and that great relationship. That being said, today I want to talk about something that I think a lot of us are facing, and that is the noise. What do I mean by the noise? Well, let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly heard yourself think? Between the emails, the texts, the appointments, family logistics, the mental load that never seems to end, work, etc., many of us today are drowning in what I like to call the noise. Okay? And it's not just noise around us, it's noise within us. The self doubt, the guilt, the expectations, the pressure to do it all and fix it all and be everything to everyone. Here's the truth: the noise, if left unchecked, can quietly, like a thief in the night, come and hijack your emotions, your hormones, your energy, your clarity, and ultimately your success. Today, we're going to talk about how to turn down that noise in our mind, in our body, and, you know, our comparisons and what we're doing so that we can finally create space for the success that feels peaceful, powerful, and personal. The three P's: peaceful, powerful, and personal. Those are the big things. So I've broken it down into 4 different sections. We're going to write this down here. Okay, it's not wanting to be my friend. The 3 P's: peaceful, powerful, and personal. Okay, that being said, let's get into this. Section 1: the noise in our mind. This is the science of overwhelm. How many of you, life, something shit hits the fan, finances take a turn, job is stressful, somebody's sick, doing this, doing that. We get overwhelmed and then we shut everything down. Let me dive into this a little bit deeper. The science as to why that happens. From a Stanford University study in 2019, it quoted that when we're bombarded with information, the brain's ability to make clear decisions decreases by up to 40%. So this builds on last week's topic of, you know, decision fatigue. This goes right hand in hand with it. When we're bombarded, our brain will actually decrease its decision making ability by 40%. That is a huge amount. We live in a world that is constantly demanding our attention, and it's not just the big things, it's the little things. The ding, the pings, the background noise, the invisible to do list running on repeat that never ends. And our brains are processing more data than ever before. I like to think like we process almost more in a day than what our grandparents did in a week. And the result is a lot of mental overload, decision fatigue, and the nagging sense of like, I just can't keep up. Why does this matter? Well, when our brain is overwhelmed, it signals our adrenal glands to release cortisol, our stress hormone. Cortisol is powerful. It keeps you alert and capable in short bursts. But when it stays elevated or too high for too long, it interferes with estrogen, progesterone, and thyroid function, the very hormones that regulate mood, energy, and metabolism. This is a reference from the Journal of Endocrinology and Metabolism in 2020, so it is up to date information. And this is why constant stress can feel like hormonal chaos, mood swings, sugar cravings, poor sleep, weight gain, specifically the spare tire around the midriff. Okay? What do we do about it? We want to start by setting mental quiet hours. For me, it was something big. I have clients that need me all day, every day, but I also have a family and I also have my own health problems and I also have a husband and I also have a family outside of all of that too. And yet I wanted to keep my health going, my business going, etc. And it became too much. As a result, I actually ended up leaving the Apple Watch ecosystem completely. And the main reason was because I couldn't turn off notifications. And so I actually switched to a Garmin watch, and it's been the best decision I ever made. I'm able to turn completely off notifications from apps and texts, and only calls come through it. It does 99% of, well, not 99%. It's an actual fitness watch. It is not a smartwatch. Let me put it that way. It has smartwatch capabilities, but it is around your whole fitness world. Versus Apple Watches are cell phones on your wrist. So when I want to actively disconnect, I can literally just put my phone down and walk away from my computer, and my watch isn't going to go ba-ding, ba-ding, ba-ding every 2 seconds. So what did that allow me to do? It allowed me to set mental quiet hours. So when I stopped working, I wouldn't be messaging up until like I went to bed. It allowed my brain to calm down. Even just setting 15 minutes a day of no phone, no screens, no multitasking, and just breathing, walking, or journaling made all the difference. This is not selfish, by the way. It is science backed recovery time for our nervous systems. We need to give them rest. So, your golden nugget, if you are taking notes, is the quieter your mind becomes, the louder your intuition speaks. Success starts with tuning in, not tuning out. For overwhelm. Boom. I'm adding notes into the chat, so for those that need to see them or want to see them or screenshot them, you can, okay? Now, our second section is the noise in our body. And so we want to learn to deal with the signals that come from inside. A quote from Dr. Libby Weaver, who's a biochemist and an author, says, "Your body whispers before it screams." And we here in this community are tracking our bio data. We're touching base on our mental health. We have Megan for our mindfulness. And so we have all these tools at our disposal. But if you don't know how to read them, it's hard for us to communicate them. So most women that I have worked with have learned to just shut them up, silence them, discredit them. We just push through the fatigue. We just dismiss brain fog as just getting older. We downplay our anxieties, our stressors, our insomnias, our bloating as normal. Our body isn't being dramatic. It's communicating to us. It's saying, enough is enough. Why does this matter? Why do we need to listen to our body and actually listen to the cues that it's giving us? Sorry, my husband's being a pest here. Okay. Sorry. I don't know why that's... Anyways, why does this matter? A 2021 study from Harvard actually found that women who ignore their body's early warning signs, specifically the signs of stress, are 3 times more likely to develop hormonal disruptions from thyroid to perimenopausal symptoms within just 6 months. Let me repeat that. A Harvard study, Harvard Medical School, 2021, women who ignore their stress and the signals of said stress are 3 times more likely to develop significant hormonal disruptions within 6 months, specifically for the thyroid and perimenopause. Okay, this is huge. It is huge. So, ignoring these little whispers is going to lead our body to what we call burnout, right? And what is burnout? It If you're focusing on functional medicine, they'll say it's adrenal dysregulation. You start waking up exhausted no matter how much you sleep, relying on 50 cups of coffee to get through the day, then wine or sugar to wind down. So when we are dealing with these kind of things, there we go. Anyways, when we're dealing with these things, we want to do body check-ins. This is why your check-ins are so bloody important. If you are not doing them, you are doing yourself a disservice. It is not for my benefit. It is for your benefit. We do check-ins because it is a form of us slowing down, touching base with ourselves, and actually asking, what did we do well this week? Where are we struggling, and what's something that we can do better? A few times a day, you can pause and ask yourself too, what do I need right now? Movement, nourishment, rest, stillness? Maybe it's a protein-rich snack to stabilize our blood sugar. Maybe it's 5 deep breaths to reset our nervous system. Or maybe it's permission to rest without guilt. These micro moments of awareness can help us recalibrate our hormones faster than any supplement ever could. And so your golden nugget here is that our body isn't the enemy, it's our guide. And the success you crave begins with starting to the signals within. Ugh, I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, here we go. That's in the comments now too. Woot woot. Now, here's some more juicy stuff. There's 4 sections, so we're halfway through. The noise of comparison. I want you to redefine success on your own terms, okay? Comparison is the thief of joy. Teddy Roosevelt. Let's talk about the kind of noise that is subtle and very destructive. Not disruptive, destructive. Ugh, I can't talk. And that is comparison. We all scroll through our feeds. We see other women who seem to have it all together, the perfect skin, the perfect homes, the perfect careers, the perfect marriages, the perfect kids, the perfect this, the perfect that. Okay? And without even realizing it, we start to measure our real, messy, and beautiful lives against their filtered moments. And I want to show you guys, like, look, is my home perfect? It's clean, but look, it's lived in. That is laundry that needs folding. Okay, I purposely left it out so you guys could see it. That's writing on the wall. That's air drying clothes, okay? So you get the point. This is real life, and I try to filter it as minimally as possible for you guys because I want you to see that you can succeed whenever shit is hitting the fan, things are busy, and your world seem to be falling apart. It is possible, and the more that you communicate, the more we can help you through it, okay? That being said, where did we go? The research. If you haven't noticed, there's a structure that I like to give you guys. A little bit of inspiration, the reality, some science to back it up, why it matters, and what to do, okay? The research from 2022, the Journal of Health Psychology found that women who frequently compare themselves to others online experience not 20, not 30, but 60% higher cortisol, stress levels, and significantly lower life satisfaction. So in 2022, the Journal of Health Psychology found that people who compare themselves, specifically women, to others online had way less satisfaction in their own lives and a 60% increase of stress hormone. That's wild. Your body literally feels comparison as stress. Why does this matter? When you chase someone else's version of success, you disconnect from your own reality. And that disconnection causes internal conflict. Your nervous system stays in fight or flight or freeze, and our hormones become unstable and our energy becomes fragmented. So, what can we do? We can audit our digital diet. We can, what do I mean by that? Which is clearing out like our YouTube subscriptions to different channels, or be careful or present with what we consume online. Like have a timer for doom scrolling. Use apps like Opal to turn off your screens, or you have to earn them. There's like a whole bunch of different apps for that. Unfollow accounts that trigger comparison or perfectionism for you. Curate a feed. So trick the algorithms. Start curating your algorithms to inspire, educate, and uplift you. And most importantly, define success on your terms. Okay? What does that feel like? Not just look like for me. You can ask yourself that. What does success feel like and look like for me? Is it peace, energy, purpose, freedom? Because once you define it, the noise of comparison starts to lose its power. So, your golden nugget here on the noise of comparison is this: when you stop competing with others, you you start collaborating with your purpose. Basically, that's where our real success grows. Bum, 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 bum. Last but not least, the noise of doing. How do we reclaim rest as a power strategy instead of just like hustle mode all the time? Okay. Ariana Huffington said that rest is not the absence of productivity, it's the foundation of it. So, a lot of us were raised to believe in grind culture, right? We have to believe that rest is earned, something you get to do after everything is done. But here's the catch. And in particular, for women, everything is never done. Is your to-do list ever done? Think about that for a second. There's always another load of laundry, another project, another responsibility. So rest gets postponed indefinitely with that kind of mindset. Why does this matter, you might ask? In 2021, the Sleep Foundation in the US reviewed that women who consistently sleep less than 6 hours per night had an increased risk of insulin resistance. The increase was 30% higher. And what does that do? The 30% risk of insulin resistance increased. That also accelerates aging, and it also creates more intense perimenopausal symptoms, which is why many of you, when you first came here, were experiencing so many different issues that have calmed down so much since you started like focusing on the right things. So remember that rest is not lazy. It is hormonal regulation. So in my case, I do not work in the mornings. I spend that time with my kid. I have a slow morning. This is shifting since my husband started going to the office 4 days a week. So what I'm starting to do is do the bulk of my work, not today, but the ideal goal is to get it done between like 5:30 and 10:30, spend a little morning time and, playtime before our first naps, and then, go through the day like that. So it's a matter of having that calm before the storm of the day. Deep sleep is one of the most important things you can do, and specifically deep sleep before midnight. The sleep that you get before midnight is one of the most powerful. Deep sleep in general helps restore leptin and ghrelin, which are our hunger and fullness hormones. It helps us to balance our stress levels, cortisol, and it actually promotes or makes more of progesterone, the hormone that helps keep us calm and resilient, okay? What do we do about this? We can design a power hour, but a power down hour. You might have heard of power hours in like grind culture, Tony Robbins, hype culture, that kind of stuff. A power hour is to get shit done fast. We can also do a power down hour, turning off screens an hour before bed, sipping a cup of tea, like chamomile or valerian root, or if you can get your hands on it, passion flower is one of the best. Passion flower has the effects of melatonin without the grogginess that comes the next day. You can dim the lights, you can stretch, journal your gratitudes, and give our nervous system permission to shift from go to grow. And remember, rest doesn't mean doing nothing, it just means doing something restorative. That could be some yin yoga, that could be some gentle mobility work, that could be reading a book, that could be, for me, I enjoy cooking, so sometimes I do a little bit of meal prep. That could mean snuggling your partner, could mean taking the dogs on a little walk, something along those lines, or snuggling your pet, okay? Rest doesn't mean doing nothing, it just means doing something restorative, okay? So your golden nugget on the noise of doing is that rest is our most underrated superpower. When you honor rest, you don't fall behind. You feel restored. Okay? That is a big, important thing here. Sorry, I'm just posting this to the comments here. Anyways, long story short, what I'm getting at is noise is going to happen, mental, physical, and emotional noise. And here's what I mostly want you to take away from today. The noise in your mind, your body, our comparisons, and busyness, not just business, busy as in busy-ness, doesn't define our success. You do, okay? When you create space for quiet, your hormones recalibrate. When you listen to your body, it rewards you with energy. When you let go of comparison, your joy will return. When you prioritize rest, our power multiplies, aka getting our training done. You don't need to do more necessarily to succeed. You just need to be more present, more intentional, and more aligned. Success that costs us our health, our peace, and our joy isn't success. It's noise disguised as achievement. So your final golden nugget of the day is that when you stop letting noise dictate your success, you start letting wisdom design your life. And that being said, my friends, that is the biggest parts of what I wanted you to walk home with today, was getting a sense of it's okay to go through noise, it's okay to be busy, it's okay to go through all of these things, but what's most important is how you show up for yourself. And if you feel like you need those hands, reach out to me. I'm here for that. If you feel like you want some extra hand holding, I'm here for that. All right? Know that you are never in this alone and that it's an honor to be in your corner. Have a great rest of your day, sweethearts. Let me know what your number one takeaways were below. I'll see you soon.